Hello again, everyone. I hope you're still doing well. I'm back with another behind the scenes episode, this time on the topic of accessioning. You might be asking yourself, what is accessioning? And if you are, I don't blame you. It's a term that's usually used by museums, archives, and libraries, and it describes the process that these organizations go through to formally accept something into their collection. So it's just a fancy way of saying the long process we have to go through before something is officially part of the Goodhue County Historical Society's collection. So I'm gonna walk you through how it all goes down.
Let's start at the very beginning. Now, GCHS has a 40-page document about how this all should work. It's called our Collection Management Policy, or our CMP. Obviously, 40 pages is a lot, so we're going to focus on the most important parts. One of which is the collection scope, or how we decide what we're going to take in. The actual paragraph is pretty long and has some jargon, so basically this scope states that GCHS strives to collect exceptional material that may further the mission of the Society. So we're only accepting an item if it abides by these conditions. First, we know we have the space and money to keep it for forever, essentially. And then followed by some of the other conditions. Does it come with any strings attached? Like it always needs to be on display, which we can't necessarily commit to. Do we know its provenance or where it came from and who legally owns it? Can we possibly use it in an exhibit someday? Does it go along with stuff we've already collected? Or is it a new thing we've never collected before, but we could collect more of in the future? And the last important thing I haven't mentioned yet, it needs to have a strong connection to Goodhue County. So that's a lot, but we haven't even gotten to the theoretical situation of someone wanting to donate something yet. We've also got to debate which area of the collection it fits into, which also affects which staff person will handle it. Books, papers, photos, and digital media all go in the library archives, and basically everything else is in the 3D collection. So in this example, you've walked in with something you want to donate. You've met with either me, the archivist Afton, or even both of us, and we've mentally gone over the collection scope and also maybe quickly checked our database to see if we have anything similar. Turns out it's something the museum doesn't have yet. Cool. Now it's time to start the paperwork. At this point, we would have you read over and sign what we call a temporary custody form, which gives us permission to keep your donation while the rest of the process continues. So a donated item has been accepted by either the curator or archivist. The paperwork has been signed, so what's next? The object needs to be approved by our collections committee, made up of members of our board of directors. This committee meets every month or so, depending on how many donations we have. If the collections committee agrees an item should be added to our collection, it is then passed on to our board of directors. Once approved again, an item can finally officially be accessioned. Which means time for more paperwork. Yay! At this point, we would typically mail you a deed of gift form, which officially transfers ownership from you to GCHS. Once we get the signed form back, everything is official, and Afton and I've got to keep the paperwork safe. We always keep a digital copy of everything and a physical copy. Check out all of these files from accessions of years past. So let's take a minute to talk about what it means for something to be accessioned. This is the process of adding something to the museum's collection, and GCHS has a duty to care for and preserve everything in our collection. This means everything that is accessioned can no longer be used for its original purpose. A plate can no longer be used as a plate. A hat shouldn't and can't be worn. We've got to do everything to preserve our collection for future generations. Okay, we finally get to move on to some of the more exciting steps. Next, we have cataloging. We're going to add the newly accessioned item to our computer database. It gets assigned a special number, and we record all the info we have about it, like descriptions, dates, measurements, conditions, and etc. After that, if it's a 3D object, we'll photograph it, or maybe scan it if it's a 2D object. We can then attach the photos to the catalog record we just made. It's not just nice to look at if you're browsing, but these photos are also helpful for identifying stuff. Next, we're going to label our objects with the special numbers they were assigned during cataloging. Labeling really depends on what you're specifically putting the label on, and we use several different types of materials. Usually 2D objects can simply be labeled with a pencil, but with 3D we have several different choices. Here's some examples of the different ways we label. We could tie a label on using special string, labels, and a pen. A textile object might need a label sewn on, again using special labeling tab material and a loose, minimally evasive stitch. Finally, some things just need the label applied directly on, or almost directly on. With this method, you first apply a material like clear nail polish, then write the number, and then paint another clear material over top. It's all removable with acetone. Okay, we've got everything labeled, and now it's time for our last step, finding a storage location. We have a leveled system of locations once you find one, and it generally goes room, wall, cabinet, shelf, and box. And it's really important this gets recorded in the catalog record we made, or we essentially just lost this object. Oof, thanks for sticking in there. We made it through. That's the basics of accessioning at GCHS. Stay tuned for future behind the scenes videos, and if you have something museum related that you've always wanted to learn more about, drop us a comment. We're always looking for more video ideas. See you next time.